Good morning, this is Shelby Law with the Great Basin Prescribed Fire and Smoke Briefing for Wednesday, March 19th, 2025. Starting off here, we'll look at recent precipitation. The image on the left shows precipitation over the past 7 days. We had a pretty good round of storms move through the Great Basin, bringing a decent amount of snow, especially at the higher elevations, with some low elevation snow mixed in as well. The past 30 days percent of normal, we can see some areas that are above average, especially over southern Idaho and portions of northeast Nevada and the higher elevations of Utah coming in above normal for this time of year over the past 30 days, but still some dry areas out there, western and southern Nevada and portions of southern Utah as well. Snowfall over the past 72 hours does show a pretty good snowstorm move through over the past couple of days, bringing some pretty good snow totals to the central Idaho Mountains, western Wyoming, much of the Utah Mountains, and Nevada. Pretty much everywhere over the higher elevation saw some snow over the past 3 days. Current snow info is shown here with our current inches of snow depth. Over the central Idaho mountains, we do have some areas with over 150 inches of snow in these darker purples. We're also seeing some of those high totals over western Wyoming. Slightly lower totals over Utah, but still decent for the time of year. Our snow water equivalent is shown here on the right, and some of the recent precipitation or snow events really that we've had over the past couple of weeks have helped to bolster our snowpack for the time of year. Even over the southern Great Basin, we did see a little bit of a bump in some of those values, but otherwise sitting right around normal, just maybe slightly above normal for many areas across the east. Sierra Front came up to near normal, and then we have a few pockets here and there over Nevada and western Idaho where those values are a little bit above normal for the time of year. Okay, looking at the weather here for today, we are kind of in between storms from the storm system that moved through yesterday and the one that's going to be moving through tomorrow. So generally drier conditions and sunnier skies today. Ventilation rates are looking pretty good area-wide. Transport winds really picking up again over western Nevada and western Idaho today ahead of the next system moving through, and mixing heights are pretty high everywhere. On Thursday, we'll start to see we'll see a quick moving low pressure system tonight into tomorrow, moving across mainly the northern portions of the area, which will bring some precipitation to mainly Idaho, portions of Nevada, and northern Utah. Ventilation rates are pretty good tomorrow. Tomorrow, as that low moves through, the winds transition to the eastern half of the area, with winds picking up over the central Idaho mountains, some pretty high gusts over western Wyoming, and then also over the eastern half of Utah, and mixing heights are going to be pretty good again on Thursday. On Friday, we'll still see some lingering precipitation possible as we continue to see some moisture coming in from the west and a few little low pressure troughs moving through the flow here. Ventilation rates are still pretty good on Friday area-wide. As far as winds on Friday, we'll still see some gustier winds over the central Idaho mountains, portions of western Wyoming, and right along the Sierra Front. And mixing heights remaining pretty good. We'll see some lower values coming in over Idaho and northern Nevada. The clearing index for Utah is shown here for the next 3 days. Today we see some pretty high values over the eastern half of the state and some lower values across the west. And then tomorrow increasing area-wide, and on Friday still seeing some pretty good values statewide. The 3-day precip totals are shown here. Again, most of this precip is coming in tonight into tomorrow over Idaho and western Wyoming, and just some lighter precipitation totals over northern Nevada and northern Utah tomorrow. On Saturday, we could still see some precipitation over Idaho and northern Utah as another little trough moves to the north before drying conditions move in on Sunday. Ventilation rates are still going to be pretty good on Saturday. So on Sunday, we start to see the ridge building in to the western U.S. Temperatures warm quickly, especially over Nevada, beginning on Sunday. Ventilation rates are going to begin decreasing Sunday through the first part of the next week as the ridge builds in. Monday, the ridge continues to strengthen across the area. Temperatures will be back up into the 50s, low 60s, even higher possibly in the west, mid 60s. And then by Tuesday, temperatures really increase. Maybe we could see our first 70-degree temperatures, high temperatures in some of the valley locations. Ventilation rates decreasing as the ridge builds in. Precipitation for days 4 and 5 are shown here. This is across, we're expecting the precipitation over Idaho and western Wyoming in that mainly that Saturday timeframe. The extended outlook for March 26th through April 1st calls for above normal temperatures across much of the western and southern U.S. and above normal chances for precipitation coming into the west coast and the Pacific Northwest, and maybe we'll see a little bit of that in the Great Basin as well. That concludes today's briefing. Please check back on Friday for the latest updates.